Gentlemen, once again, and this is the most challenging time of the day. It's a post-lunch session, but I'm sure the very esoteric set of panelists that we have, and with their varied experience across different sectors, will be sharing their very interesting insights, which can be a big catalyst so that people don't fall into post-lunch stupor. So without further ado, from the morning we had different central level and section where we have again different departments as well as different public sector units who will be sharing their experiences on how they are leveraging AI for efficiency and productivity. The difference, subtle difference between this session and the previous ones here, here all the panelists, whichever organization, department or PSU they might be representing, are somehow matured in the AI deployment, in the sense there are some applications or use cases which are already prevalent and which are already sort of benefiting their consumers or the citizens. So without further ado, it's my pleasure now to call on stage the panelists for this session. Let me welcome Mr. B. Shankar Jaiswal, IPS, Joint Commissioner of Police, Delhi Police. Warm round of applause. Joginder, Tanikella, CEO of T-Works from Telangana. And we have you, sir.
Good.
JP Singh, Scientist G from DRDO. Dr. Prashant, Atreya, ED, NHPC.
Welcome.
Alok, Shankar, Pandey, GMIT and CISO of DFCCIL, the dedicated freight corridor. Sudheesh, VC, GGM IT1 from IRCTC.
Yes.
Vivek, Pathak, AGM IT from BHEL.
Yes.
And I think we will be joined by Kirtika Ojha from L&T Cloudfinity. Okay. Okay, so just as I know, I think JP Singh, Mr. JP Singh, you have to leave early, so I'll start with you. The first question, which is for DRDO. We have heard even in the morning sessions and couple of panel discussions that defense overall is a sector that has been leveraging AI quite significantly, and there are already use cases. I know all of them can't be shared on a public forum for obvious thing, but what I would like to understand first is the Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. They have set up a DSS framework. So if you can, one, elaborate on that. And two is the security aspect of AI. We have been hearing about the biases, the deep fakes and all that. So considering the paramount importance of security in defense, how do you ensure when you are leveraging AI that security is not compromised?
See, basically, I can find 3 applications of AI in defense. First is where consistency is required. Like someone is watching over the sky continuously for 24 hours, some human being, or 48 hours, then he can get complacent. And there AI can help him. That some drone coming suddenly, war has not started. So he shall continuously, if he watching, he can get complacent. Automatic detection of drones, it can alert. And there we can work on it. But second thing, wherever there's speed is required, even if war has started, if a lot of drones are coming, then how are we going to kill them? So that speed is automated firing will be required there. And third place where weight, space, cost, and environmental constraints are there. Like recently, I was called by ITBP at Pangong Lake at China border. So there our equipments were working well, but my own health gone down. So wherever humans can't survive, there AI can help. But in all these locations, as sir is telling, army is also of the view that presently we shall not automate everything because there problems can happen. So we give the control to, we are only generating alerts. And that's why this care framework, decision support system, DSS framework, in that framework, it will only support the human decision. Ultimate decision of firing or not firing has to be done by the humans. As on today, as of 2029, when super intelligence comes, the situation is going to change. There may be that AI will have to take very fast decisions, because at present the AI status, if you see, we have integrated AI and ML. There are two aspects. Machine learning can learn on the basis of actual images, videos. Automatic learning is happening in machine learning. But you see, in one example I will give, that in drone detection, in clear weather it's good, machine learning will work. But what will happen when cloud patches are there? There, machine learning gives a lot of false alarms. Then we are putting AI rules there. Those AI rules calculate the path of the movement, the path curvature, then speed, accuracy, speed, acceleration, and then Y cross. On that basis, AI rules basis, it's differentiating this is a cloud patch and this is a drone. So there AI and ML integration we have done. Next step is quantum computing integration with that one. Quantum computing in itself, we have worked on 100 qubits and all, some results have come. We are modifying that. If quantum computing also comes up, then further. Then as Ray Kurzweil has written the book Magician Algorithms, that is very less literature is available. We have to evolve on that. If all these four things combined, then we will reach the super intelligence thing. That will be more intelligent than humans, I am sure, in some aspects. But then situation is different. When we will reach there, then we will see that if it's more accurate than humans, then okay, we will go with that. Thank you.
So till super intelligence is reached, as you rightly mentioned, and I think Sitharaman sir told in the morning also that it should be ultimately humans are defining the rules-based. When you are saying rules-based AI, it's not the other way around. Technology is not defining, and that should be ultimately the roadmap, if I may say. Great. I'll come back the DRDO perspective later.
Human intuition will still be in human.
Exactly.
Ultimately.
Human intuition, because that has an emotional quotient to it. So that no AI rules can really replicate. Great. I'll come back on the DRDO part because I wanted to understand something about the Atman thing, which happened during COVID, but I'll come back on that later. I'll come to you, Shankar sir, from Delhi police perspective. Now, Delhi police, we know, has been quite proactive in terms of deploying AI. You have chatbots, then even missing person tracking snatchers, different applications. So one, if you can give briefly some use cases where AI is being used. And another very pertinent problem today is the social media and if I may say, the nuisance created through social media, where it compromises law and order. So how are you really leveraging AI? I may not use the word control social media, but control the nuisance in social media, if I may say. Yes. No, it took.
Yeah. So thank you for inviting me here. So I look after Safe City project in Delhi, and also I'm the process of adoption of ITMS project, Intelligent Traffic Management System, and many more projects in Delhi Police. So, policing requires assistance, technology aids in many ways, right from crime prevention to crime detection, investigation, supervision of investigation, prosecution, trial, intelligence, and many more, crowd control. So there are multifarious duties. So I'll talk about AI application. I'm incorporating your points, right? I'll talk about AI applications from the perspective of technology. So I'll list out technology-wise what all we are doing and what all we propose to do in future. So if you start with computer vision, so we do all kinds of video analytics. In Safe City project, we have 10,000 cameras which have been recently put in place. And on top of that, we are running many video analytics applications such as facial recognition system, many semantics video-based alerts. For example, a person falls on the ground, the camera will note that point and there will be alert, and PCR vehicle will go to the spot and provide whatever help is required. Similarly, a woman who is in distress and she is crying, she is asking for help by gesturing, by raising her hands, that can be identified. This is something we have already done. So, in fact, today itself, I was in the process of, accepting the whole system so that we can go for, implementing the project. So, likewise, there are many more semantics video. So, this is for crime prevention. For detection of crime, face recognition can be used. In the background, we have all the known criminals. Their faces can be checked, matched, and if some criminal is about to commit a crime, that can be prevented. A criminal face which has been found in CCTV footage after commission of crime, that face footage is retrieved, and that face can be matched from the background database, and we can identify who was the criminal. So that's where we detect crime, and we investigate further. For intelligence, again, all the databases that can be pulled together, and there can be enterprise search, elastic search on all kinds of identifiers. This is a computer vision and traditional AI. I think my colleague he has mentioned about symbolic AI also, because AI, current AI, it is probabilistic, but sometimes we need deterministic AI also, and the symbolic AI caters to that requirement. So what we are thinking in future, that can we have some kind of knowledge graph where everything is deterministic, so to say, and then retrieval assisted generation, RAG kind of paradigm, where we can use large language model, fine tune for our databases, our crime databases, our investigation databases, so that IOs, investigating officer, can use RAG and knowledge graph to not only getting intelligence, but also for detection of crime and for investigation. So that was symbolic AI and computer vision.
Just one sec.
Yeah.
For the symbolic AI, wanted to interrupt one thing. What you said is very interesting, but what about the techno-legal aspects of it? Because as a layman, what I understand is there will be when implementation comes, a techno-legal challenge.
Yeah. So techno-legal is like we know DPDP Act, Digital Personal Data Protection Act, has been enacted, and now rules have been circulated, and soon it will be notified also. Once it is notified, then we would be data fiduciary. All agencies who are having personal data, face is a personal data, is a biometric data. So we will be data fiduciary. We will have databases of suspects also. So in that capacity, it will be our bounden duty as per the Act to make sure that the data is used only for the purposes it has been captured, not for any other purposes. So that data fiduciary role will be functioning, and of course, law enforcement agency has been given some exemption. Research community has also been given some exemption, but within those limits, we will be functioning, and we are fully aware of our roles as data fiduciary. So I think that answered your question. Yeah. So at the last point I wanted to mention is LLM has opened the windows for so many use cases in policing. And one of the important use cases I'll just cite before you, because I talk about judiciary also, I talk about prosecution, court judgments. There are whole lots of court judgments, and many times, there is acquittal. There's a lot more regions are given by courts in acquittal. So those regions for acquittals can also be culled out for our investigating officers and can be presented in such a manner that they can comprehend. Similarly, while investigation, you have whole lot of documents, whole lot of data, CDR and all these things. Everything can be put together, and based on that, your LLM will help you in drafting so many documents, because IOs otherwise they have to draft all those documents. It takes so much time, and nowadays the cases are growing exponentially. Number of cases, investigation, and officers, of course, they are limited number. So this LLM would really help them in drafting documents, and also the new officers who join the police force, he's not fully aware of all the nuances of investigation. He can take all those helps from LLM-based system, where wisdom of investigators, past investigators, can be also pulled together, and they can, even from the leisure of their home, in their leisure time and whatever time they choose, they can learn from that kind of fine-tuned chatbot. So that is another area where we are looking for in a big way. One last point I would mention, nowadays, a beat officer on the ground, what exactly looks for? He looks for some suspect who is about to commit crime, and he has to intervene and stop the crime happening. So he has the knack of identifying from the situation. Now, can this be done by computer vision? This is possible. We have now, so far, we have been training model for each use case. Somebody taking out gun and brandishing and pointing on someone, this is one use case. So now, how many use cases would train? For each training, you need a whole lot of data. So you can do it in the other way. Rather than going for each use case, we can also, the new paradigm that is called visual language modeling. So instead of doing one use case at a time, we can summarize the whole video and annotate that, convert that in story. Each image, each frame will be converted to a story, or each video clip can be converted to a story using LLM, and everything can be pulled together. Now you run LLM-based system, do all kind of searches. Now you define all the use cases. Somebody taking out weapon, brandishing and pointing on someone, can be one use case. Somebody getting into scuffle, another use case. Somebody falling on ground, third use case. Whatever we see in real life, physical world, everything can be converted into some pre-filled, predefined use case, and the sky is the limit. So using one system can help you in training your model for all kinds of use cases, with a beat staff on the ground looks for in physical world, that everything can be done through video-based analytics. So this is what all we are trying to do these days. There are many other things we are doing, but maybe we can answer later on. Thank you so much.
Thanks. So if I may sum up three important points were symbolic AI, the last what you mentioned, video analytics for predictive predicting crimes, and third, that sort of knowledge base that you are sort of building, that's also a very innovative use. Great, thanks a lot. Next, I'll come to you, Joginder, Tanikella. Now, T-Works we know has been there for a decade now. How would you assess the impact of T-Works in sort of creating an ecosystem of AI startups in Telangana? That is one part. And I know there's this, you aim to build a certain capacity, compute capacity with CDAC. You are partnered. And that is also targeting the startups in the state. So if you can give us an update on that.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks to APAC Media for having me here. And as T-Works is actually in Telangana, we have an entire ecosystem, innovation ecosystem, we call it. So T-Works is the organization which looks into the hardware and manufacturing side of startups. And then we have T-Hub, which looks into the startups which are looking to scale and grow forward. Similarly, we also have RICH Rich, and then TISC, which is our Innovation Council. And similarly, we have a number of organizations. So together, we all work for the AI-enabled startups in multiple ways. essentially the first thing that AI startups need is data. So in this regard, one of the good things about the Telangana government is that in a very pioneering move, actually, Telangana has open sourced data sets from many years now. And in fact, last night was the launch of the TGDX, which is the data exchange initiative of the Telangana government in collaboration with JICA. It is the first state-led public infrastructure for AI. So that is these are some of the ways in which we are supporting AI startups. Then another way we support the AI startups is that, of course, we link them to manufacturing and in hardware. So real life use cases. So, for example, just the day before, we had a Japanese company which was looking for a very specific use case where they wanted AI-led startup to enable to identify defects in the product being made in an assembly line. So we interacted with a number of AI startups which are associated with our innovation ecosystem, and then we have discussed the Japanese company and shown the demonstrations, and they were quite satisfied with the capabilities. These are also some of the ways we work with them. Then there is also AI/ML Path Lab, which also is inside T-Hub actually. That is a DST-enabled initiative, and the compute capability which is present now is enabled to be accessible by the AI-led startups through this innovation ecosystem actually. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So thanks for sort of illuminating us on the different aspects and different works that T-Works is doing, and it's excellent as a state-led AI exchange, which you say first time happening in the country. So that's also excellent to know about that. Next, I'll come to you, Dr. Prashant Atreya. Couple of things. One, from an NHPC perspective, how are you leveraging AI, and especially on the cybersecurity front that we have been talking about? And one other thing I would like to understand, see, NHPC has a stated goal, publicly stated, to have 50,000 megawatt capacity of a green energy company by 2047, when there's Viksit Bharat. Where does AI fit in that roadmap?
Thank you very much. In fact, you rightly said that we have got an aggressive workload to come in future. And what we are doing, in fact, we were initially a hydropower company, and then thereafter the solar and wind were also added to it. Now, as we see, a lot of solar is going to destabilize the grid very soon, because around hydro is just only 12%, and peaking is mainly comes from the hydropower. So that's why now government is focusing on increasing the hydro capacity. The solar, in fact, you will see that a time has even come that for 0 rupees per unit, the power is getting sold. So to take that aspect, plus as you see, after the suspension of the Indus Water Treaty, lot of projects which were stuck up, now they have been cleared. They are getting cleared one by one. So to take care of all those aspects, in fact, we had started a big journey 2-3 years back. And we are changing our different models as far as the computation is concerned. So some of them are already in place. So begin with, I just want to tell that the concept to commissioning, we do the concept to commissioning work as well as we do the operations of the power stations. From concept side, if we see that all the type of these hydrological models, because our all generation is based on the hydrological data and the catchment area specifications. So we are using this AI for modeling the flows and for getting the power generation capacity, what is to be done, because each hydropower plant is unique in itself, because we have to fight the nature. So there may be terrain may different, it may be different, head may be different, discharge may be different. So first of all, we decide about the hydrology. So there we are using this AI. Then on the modeling part, then in fact we have also started use of basically 3D, that is BIM technology and AI for getting the generative designs, because it's not that copy paste of a building. If you want to construct a new building, we just copy paste the entire model. So we have got our own number of power stations which have been constructed in the past. So we put that into database and we try to get some generative design out of that. And then even this BIM models not only give the walkthrough experience, but basically when we are designing in detail, they help us a lot because civil, electrical, and mechanical, these all aspects are to be built in. A lot of clashes because you must be aware that most of the power stations are now being built underground. You see a mountain from the outside, and you will find a 5-6 story building within the mountain, which is in fact nothing, is a power station. Even you see, if you go to the border areas in Uri, uh, in Uri side, the two power stations are there. Then in the northeast, as you were telling about Pangon, we had another in Tista 5, which got damaged because that failure of sensors, they did not work. And what happened? Two projects were totally washed out. One Tista 3 was washed out, and then there was ours, where the radial gates and all building were damaged. So what we want to say, for this purpose, we are trying to use AI. Then we have deployed in practically at TIL that it early warning system after those incidents. NHPC have been given the exclusive responsibility of making a master control room, and now 54 power stations and projects we are advising them. So what model we have is again a AI based model. All the water flow data coming from distant GND sites, gauge and discharge sites, that is being that comes to us, and we do regression analysis, a lot of statistical analysis we do, and all these AIML model we use, and we do the forecasting. All of them are being guided through a portal. So this one important case, in fact, which we are doing for the nation. Then when we go for power generation, we are doing the real-time monitoring and definitely predictive analysis.
Okay.
So whatever machine generating plant equipment data comes to us, that is being analyzed exclusively so that the shutdown time is minimum.
Okay.
So this is all about the power station part. And as far as cyber security, we would, in fact, we are an organization which is spread across 43, 44 locations we are having. So we are basically perimeterize the firewalls.
Okay.
So you can, so that's all. Thank you.
So the three things that I would like to sum up is the hydrological models that you talked about, the EWS systems where that predictive thing is very critical ultimately for any disaster management perspective. And also you mentioned about using that model for the power generation and doing predictive maintenance around that. Great. Next, I'll come to Alok Shankar Pandey, dedicated freight corridor, responsible for the railway tracks and the safeguarding the railway network function. So, one, how much AI is being leveraged in safeguarding the overall railway network function and to overall enhance the efficiency of the railway operations? That is one part. And as you have a CISO function, I would like to understand, say, something like a broken rail detection or some other technology where those are high priority areas as far as railway safety is concerned. So how can AI help there?
So thank you, Rajneesh, for that wonderful question. And thank you, APAC Media, for giving this platform to share my views. And before I share my views, my disclaimer: views expressed are strictly personal, do not in any way reflect views of my organization, either in the past or present. And specifically, rail operations is a domain where public at large is concerned, both safety and security. So I would kind of keep the answer generic. When I look at leveraging AI and I draw a parallel with respect to the human being, there are 5 sensory organs that you have. So your eyes, computer vision, your ears, the LLMs of today, your tongue. Right now you won't have the taste part of it coming in the AI portion. Nose, your smell is not coming in the AI portion as of now. Your skin, you still have certain inputs which are coming from the sensory sensors that are there. So 3 out of 5 have been addressed as of now. Now all these inputs, what do I do when I process it? I process it in 2 verticals. First vertical that I process is the intelligence quotient vertical, and the second is the emotional quotient vertical. We are kind of addressing the intelligence vertical quotient. Emotional quotient is, as of now, not considered right now. Now, if I put the whole thing, so basically I have uses of LLMs, computer vision in business use cases. That is where I can put the AI to use in business in railway operations. And since we are two panelists over here from railways, I will keep myself restricted to the operational part of it. So when I operate trains on the tracks that are there, you will see a lot of proprietary stuff. Operational technology is the core portion that I'm looking at. A lot of proprietary stuff operating. So it's difficult to leverage proprietary protocols, data emanating from proprietary protocols at the scales that one would want to. But on the flip side, the same proprietary protocol being controlled by the biggest OEMs in the world, they are using the data generated by themselves to provide certain solutions. So these are on the track solution that I'm looking at. Now, if I move slightly off the track and I move to the maintenance part of it, so what operations is mostly proprietary. If I come to the maintenance part of it, lot of activity was done by the human element through visual inspection, number of inspection. So that is where we are leveraging computer vision, number of places, where computer vision is actually looking at and addressing anomaly detection. So generally what would happen is the train used to be stopped for inspecting its carriages, undercarriages, slung, whatever is slung under carriages. If it was not desired, it caused safety concern to the operations. Today you can pass the train at the desired speed with computer vision applications working on it and take a decision whether to stop, not to stop, or which bogie to remove and continue with the operations. So that brings in efficiency in operations. So that is the first part, as I said, addressing the efficiency in operations part. Now, if I come to the second part, they're talking about broken rail systems. Broken rail again is something which is something has to be moving on the track first. And if something has to move on track, the platform brings in a proprietary protocol. RCF is working on a few things in the railway ecosystem where they can bring that in. But in any case, what is back behind is the OEM from there. But if I want to do if I say a researcher perspective or academic perspective or use case perspective, we can very well mount these applications of OpenCV. I'm tempted to go towards OpenCV, computer vision, and club it with other applications of maintenance. You have USFDs, other visual. So a single sensor input need not necessarily bring you to the correct answer or the correct. You're again looking at two parts to it, prescriptive and predictive. So single sensor input will probably give you not very reliable input, at least in our case. So what we are doing is we are doing multi-sensor fusion. So you have multiple platforms, multiple sources of data coming in, do a multi-sensor fusion, and then come to the conclusion that whether this broken rail, specific if you're talking of a rail fracture, if you would want to call, impacts my business operation immediately, immediate intervention is required, or I can plan it, because every time I stop a train, there are 20 trains lined up behind.
Exactly.
So that is where it comes in. Thank you.
So very importantly, you have compartmentalized the two parts, the railway operations and railway maintenance, less scope of mainstream AI deployment in operations, primarily because it's more proprietary, as you say, most of the technology.
So there is a lot of scope of deployment. What you need to do
is there.
Your contracts need to be reworked to be able to extract the data, force that person to share the data and then use it. Okay. So you need to rework on the contracts.
But the maintenance part, the challenge is less, so it's easier to leverage it faster. Great. Next, I'll come to you, Sudheesh Gesi, again on the railway, more on the IRCTC part. See, IRCTC, we know, I've been leveraging AI very effectively, streamlined and securing the railway booking process. Very recently, there was a news that I think 3.5 crore fake user IDs were blocked. So can you throw some more light on such things, and also update about there are these virtual assistants like Ask Disha, which talks about the scheduling of the trains. So how effectively their AI is being leveraged?
So thank you for this opportunity to express, give me the opportunity to express myself. So first of all, your first question is a classic demand-supply mismatch case. You know, too few seats and too many people searching for it. Uh, so we have been trying to, sort of symptomatically address these issues by, restricting people. When there is a demand-supply mismatch, we have a senior IPS officer also here. It's a sure recipe for a mafia kind of situation. So
I think that's a little bit hard.
yeah. So actually, sometimes it is. You see people staying in the queue in a railway counter because I have worked in the field also. Overnight, they will stand in the queue for that elusive Tatkal ticket. And sometimes the system hangs at the right point for a few seconds. Then you are still getting the wait list. So now the touting in the sense there is no loss of revenue for railway or IRCTC is concerned. But for a common man, it is difficult to get a ticket, essentially due to the demand-supply mismatch. Probably we are not doing enough to address that, but we are sort of doing some patchwork of, when the demand-supply mismatch is there, people try to misuse it, and it's a big economy in itself. So we have been doing many things. This 3.5 crores is probably it has nothing to do with artificial intelligence. This was a purely administrative kind of decision and analysis. People create user IDs with fictitious email IDs, fictitious mobile number. All of these are available, through the internet and other means. So the idea was to curb it. So administratively, it was taken a decision to analyze the user IDs and disposable from visual analysis. You are able to cull out, and then you can through some sort of data analysis you can make out which one is a disposable email ID, which one is not. And the other thing we have done with a kind of mixed results is using a AI agency. They are providing the CDN service also, the anti-bot services also, and they analyze various parameters when somebody visits the site based on the telemetry, how the mouse movements, and there are many, around 40 to 50 parameters they check, and they give a bot score. This is an automated tool. Somebody is using an automated tool to access the site. So then, blocking their entry. That is what we have done. To certain extent, I would say this is successful. And the recent update is that there is an Aadhaar which has been made mandatory. That is the first phase is rolled out now. But you will be surprised to know those few trains in those origin destination pairs where the migrant labor movement and the demand supply mismatch is there, they are still getting booked within 60 seconds to 90 seconds. So it is a classic case of demand supply mismatch. So how far AI can solve all the problems of life, I do not know. So this is a classic case. But going ahead, if you look at beyond AI and maybe AI may complement it, the issue is the demand supply mismatch, and we are speaking about the Viksit Bharat concept also. So travel tourism is an area which gives substantially to the GDP. If India want to be Viksit, I think this area has to be. Some of the European countries and some of the smaller countries I have seen, and sometimes we visit. There is no history, there is no geography, there is nothing in that country, but they have 25%, 30% of the GDP from travel and tourism. We have at every corner in Delhi there is a history sleeping, and it's a beautiful this thing. So somehow probably railway is the most. One is the development, that is a Viksit Bharat. The second one is the sustainability. I think railway is ideally suited to be the center point. It's a sustainable model, and it can coordinate and make an ecosystem of travel and tourism. So in this, as a railway officer also, I used to think probably the problem lies in thinking as a railway officer. The problem is the demand is a travel demand. So whether it is railway, whether it is air, whether it is bus, or, if we can create an ecosystem, but we have been very conservative in exchanging the data, exchanging the information. So if the bus operators get the data, and as a comprehensive solution, if we can give transport. Okay. So to certain extent, I think this can be, because demand supply mismatch is very difficult to bridge. But if we work in an overall ecosystem, so we can work. Okay. And I think the data exchange, the kind of flexi fares, those things, AI, ML can play a role. I think at the moment we are doing a very minimal kind of intervention at the point. And another thing we can have a role is the quota distribution. So we all tend to see that the quota and the demand supply is fluctuating so widely. So if you see in a summer vacation period from Delhi to say Chennai, it is completely full, end-to-end demand. But off demand, it will be sort of distributed. So the quota distribution is one thing we can have AI to come in a big way, because we have to have the data. The data has to be cleaned up and proper kind of intervention and distribution. At the moment, it is largely manual, prone to inefficiencies, and we are not able to serve the maximum number of customers the way we can, even with the this thing. And the other one is that if we can have this data, in a proper, usable, sanitized format. So we have this concept of clean data platform, customer data platform, clean data room, and clean customer data platform. So if we can have that, it requires a lot of collaboration between the private sector, the agility, innovation of private sector, and the large volume of data the public sector has. Then probably we can have a kind of targeted kind of services. It will exceed the expectation of customer in terms of quality of service. And as I said, if there is a wait list in a particular train, probably we can give those information to the road sector. Okay. So that kind of clean data.
The need for the. So what you mentioned, the important points other than the sanctity of the data, the clean data is, what I understand is lot of the inefficiency is caused by the demand supply mismatch, and consequently, one thing that you advocated, if you can have an integrated transport management system where we bring all the things together.
Before, just one 20-second interjection. The point that he brought out was very evident, very relevant, that if you're looking at Viksit Bharat 2047 and being the third largest economy 2026-27, you're targeting 5 trillion, and of the 5 trillion, 1.25 trillion is supposed to come from the transportation sector. So logistics is going to play a humongous role in this whole thing being fructified. Thank you.
Okay, that's critical. Okay, next we have Vivek Pathak. From a BHEL perspective, if very briefly, we are running behind schedule, and a little succinct on what sort of use cases you would like to highlight on AI from a BHEL perspective.
BHEL presently has an order book of around 2 lakh crores of rupees, which is the largest order book position since inception. And as we are spread across the country, we have 14 manufacturing units and 12 service centers and innumerable sites. So it became very imperative to start something with the AI uses. So we have started using LLMs, and on top of that, we have built certain AI applications using API integration, mainly for the data warehousing part, wherein we have created a data lake, and all the data which is relevant with respect to HR, with respect to the project schedule, with respect to procurement, with respect to finance, that data is going into a data lake, and it is actually being considered a single point of source for all the units and for all the centers, be it the plant manager at one of the unit or a site person at the one of the sites. So that data lake house becomes a single version of truth, And on top of the data lake house, we are using AI and BI intelligence in order to generate data-driven insights. So I'll just give you an example. Like for example, presently we have warehouse spread across all the locations. Now with this data lake in place, the top management is able to identify at what warehouse what raw material is available. So suppose we use steel and copper. So the top management is able to identify that at this location the steel is available and at this location the copper is available. So because of that, the total warehouse has been automated. We are able to, the AI model is able to study the past history of the procurement. It is able to study the project schedules. It is able to study the supplier performance. And on that basis, we are able to get a standardized procurement cycle for our important raw material like copper and iron. So this is one of the very important use case of automating the entire warehouse end to end using AI for all the units and for all the regions. This is one of the use cases. Second use case, I would just want to brief because of passage of time, is that we are having a number of cyber security tools. We have SOC at one place, we have SIM, we are using DLP security tools, we are using endpoint security tools. Now, what was exactly happening, because BHEL is not an IT company, the cyber security professionals were facing alert fatigue. They were not able to correlate the information, and the person sitting at the SOC also was not able to correlate the information because of the alert fatigue, and we did not have the expertise in correlating the information. So herein, what we did, we used a security AI tool at all these points, whether it's the SIM, whether it's the endpoint security, or whether it's the DLP security. We have used security AI tool, and that security AI tool has not now able to give us the dashboards for the security professionals, and they are able to get insights and context wherein the risk score is being given to the cybersecurity professionals, and that risk score they are able to identify that this is the endpoint or this is the server which has to be given top priority, and the alerts are coming from this endpoint or server, and because of that the alert fatigue has gone, and only the critical issues are getting reported to the cybersecurity professionals, and the rest we have done is we have automated the remediation using that AI security tool. So these are the two use cases which we are using at BHEL. There are others like automating the workflows that I would not want to mention.
We're absolutely run out of
Right.
time.
Thank you.
The two use cases that you highlighted were the data warehousing and on the cybersecurity front. As I mentioned, we're absolutely run out of time. So what I will request is each panelist 30 seconds to just talk about one major AI-related measure that you are going to adopt, starting with you from DRDO.
Data accuracy, and I would like to go for perfect AI, because present day AI has limitations, like some Japanese aircraft came down yesterday in Ahmedabad, it already happened. So we have to go for perfect AI, we have to perfect this AI technology, then only it will be highly effective.
So I hope the perfect AI developer use.
In fact, we have already planned for generative AI models for our basically the databases what we have in our SAP, our document databases, and our other engineering databases. We want to have a generative AI models through chatbot and virtual assistants. That's all.
Okay.
We have many workflows. That workflows, whether it is with respect to HR or whether it's related to purchase, we want to automate the workflows. That is taking a lot of time. A lot of professionals are involved in doing the routine workflows. This is one aspect wherein we want to bring in AI and do end-to-end automation of the workflows. Second is the documentation part. We have a lot of documentation related to customers, related to suppliers, wherein we want to use AI, generative AI, and we want to shorten the life cycle and generate insights from these documentations, from these user manuals. So this is the second use case, and build a knowledge base.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you. Actually, I'm thinking of using generative AI for industrial design, product design, to make new kinds of products. We can use generative AI for that. Thank you. Yes, sir.
I just list out humanoid receptionist at police station. We are working on it with IIT Delhi, and in a way, it will be a duty officer who will be responding to all questions of the civilian who is coming to police station. Second, intelligent traffic management system. 1,200 junctions of traffic junctions of Delhi and 600 blinkers. They will be integrated through a single command control system by which if all instructions, all the conditions will be met. Third, predictive policing, where we'll be using all sorts of historical crime data and all associated spatio-temporal data, such as even social media data. Input that also can be inputted. And fourth is chatbot, which will be provided to citizens, so that they can know the nuanced answers of whatever query they have related to Delhi Police, and also for our own IOs, own officers, who can be provided all kinds of assistance in their day-to-day working. Thank you.
Thank you. Alok.
Though not directly related to me, last week I heard a news which said both the Googles and the OpenAIs of the world are now telling people, because we have to be compliant with DPDP, not DPDP, GDPR and the Privacy Acts, please don't share your data with us. So now we have to look inwards to have, rather than having AI as a service on those pre-trained models, look inwards to develop those models and train them on your own data. That is what I would say.
Okay.
A minimum government, maximum governance. Make yourself irrelevant and let the system take care of the needs of the common man by free exchange of ideas and data and thoughts.
Lovely. And that's a great way to conclude. So before we disperse, I would request Vashwati if you can give a token of gratitude to all our panelists. Can we have the tokens? B. Shankar Jaiswal. Joginder, Tanikella. Dr. Prashant Atreya. Alok Shankar Pandey. Sudheesh Rishi. Vivek Pathak. Can I request all the panelists to come?